Well, hello everybody. Today I've been wanting to do something for quite a while that I just needed to get done, and today I've just figured that today is the day to do it. So what I want to do today is I'm going to do a pontoon review, and I've got three different manufacturers. I've got a Skookum Steelheader, I've got a Sportsmans 9, and the Sportsman's 9 is really just nothing more than a Outcast Fish Cat 9. And then I've got an 8-foot Creek Company Sport. The three different boats are so vastly different from each other that I wanted to show that and why I like certain things about each boat. So I'm going to show an overview of all three. I'm going to show an overview of all three, and then I'm going to kind of go over why I like them. So here they are. This is the 10-foot Skookum Steelheader, and to call it a pontoon really isn't fair. This boat is a cataract. It is whitewater capable. It has a load rating of over 1,000 pounds. This boat is big, and it is heavy, and it is a very stout, tough machine. The next one is the Outcast Fish Cat 9, otherwise known as the Sportsman's Warehouse Sportsman's 9. This is another very, very good boat. I love this boat for sturgeon fishing. And last is the Creek Company ODC Sport. This is also known as the banana boat by a lot of people. The first thing I want to bring into play here on what I want to show is the pontoons on this have a steep rocker on them, and by that what I mean is this section right here. If you notice how steep this rocker is, well, when this boat is actually in the water's up to about here, so the actual amount of boat that's in the water is only, I'm gonna guess, probably right around 4 feet, 4.5 maybe. And I'll touch more on that in just a little bit. But one of the things it also does is when you put a little bit of a load on this, you get a cooler or something like that, this boat's gonna rock back. You can change how that works by sliding the frame forward just a little bit, and you can keep that from doing that a little bit. But the big thing with this is these boats right here are a very light duty boat. The frame is much smaller than the other two, and so for that reason, this short hull, when you row it doesn't like to track very straight. It has a tendency to pull to one side or the other. But the one good thing I like about this boat is this boat is very light. And because of that reason only is the reason why I like that boat. Now, that I have had a lot of people with me that have caught sturgeon in this boat, and it is a very capable catfish and sturgeon boat. But it has its limitations. One of the other things I'd like to point out with this boat is it's got a nylon exterior. And this nylon exterior is all the way to the bottom. Even the bottom's nylon. If a perch or a crappie were to hit their back on that, their spines could go through and pop one of these bladders. There's not much protection here. Sand will get inside these covers, and it's a good idea, usually once a year, to take the bladders out, inspect them, clean the inside of this cover out, and make sure that you don't have any potential problems. The rack, this particular model, was designated to be able to use a motor, and this motor mount, this rack needs another motor mount to go on it. But as I've pointed out, a little bit of weight back here makes it pop wheelies, so it's really not an efficient model to do that with. I'm going to show a front-on shot of this boat. You're very close to the water with these particular boats where you're sitting. That can splash up on your lap. There's a lot of things that that go into play with that, but it's not a big deal. You're fishing. So anyway, here's another shot. You can see the rockers are real steep on that. Now let's look at the Sportsman's 9. Okay, now we're gonna take a look at the Sportsman's 9. And the Sportsman's 9 is a really nice little boat. I really like this boat. As you notice on this boat, it has rockers, but the rockers aren't as steep, and they're much farther out. For all practical purposes, you got close to 7 feet of hull that's in the water on this boat. It tracks very straight when you oar it. This boat has a PVC cover on it, and the PVC is just kind of like a rubber that's on the outside of the nylon fabric. This particular boat has a denier rating of 500 on the top and 800 on the bottom, and what that means is the thickness of the material. This is a very rugged material. There's no way that a crappie or a perch is going to poke through this. A catfish spine could. So it would have to be almost intentional for that to happen. But it's not impervious. But it is. It's much better. It's a much better system. I want to show the motor mount. This is the motor mount on most all of the Outcast boats. This particular motor mount is for electric only, and I have seen guys, and I have done it myself, people have put gas motors on these, and I do not recommend this at all. I have broke one doing this. What happens is when the motor thrusts down, the pontoons thrust out, and it breaks the welds right here on the frame. It's not a good idea to do that with those boats. So for that reason, I don't do that. I've got a battery box, and it's mounted permanently on a piece of aluminum. I do that so it's easier to put the battery in and out. The seat on this one is also very close to the water, but it's a little bit taller than the other one, but not by much. This little button right here is the button that controls my trolling motor. I can turn it on and off with that button, so it gives me a little bit more flexibility on running the motor. If I need to stop it for a reason, or if I need to start it for a reason real fast, I can do that. Now I'm going to go on next to the Skookum Steelheader. Okay, the last boat that I want to talk about is the Steelheader, and this is a big boat. It is 10 foot long. The boat has got a heavier frame. The frame is made out of pipe instead of tubing. It has a nice big floor in it. You actually set up much higher. The seat up here, you set right here, your feet go there. But for fishing, I actually put a small pad on the foot deck. I put a pad right here on the foot deck, and I set right there so I can use my fins to move myself around. This boat was designed to have a gas outboard motor on it. The gas motor hooks up right here, and it will take up to a 5 horsepower gas engine on this. A lot of guys use just an electric, but I like the gas. Again, we're going to talk about the rockers. The rockers on this one are a little steeper because it is for whitewater, but those particular rockers are, the whole boat itself is longer, and so I've still got way over 8 foot of hull in the water with this boat, even though it's got steep rockers. The rockers on the front are designed so that when you're in water, going through some, I'm not going to call it whitewater because not all of these boats do whitewater, but it's more like, I would say it's more like splashers for the other boats. But for this particular boat, this one can take whitewater. So when you dip over a big rock and you've got your front end dips down, those rockers are made like that so the front end of your boat doesn't actually stab under water. It's designed for whitewater, and it is a heavy boat. This boat, stripped down, is going to weigh a little over 100 pounds. The way I have it decked out right now, you're looking at probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 pounds. I've got my boards on the side that I can put stuff on. The ones on the front, you can see I've got my bags, and I've got my rod holders. That's my transducer for my fish finder. You can see all the support that's underneath the frame of that boat. The cross members here. You've got cross members here all the way on the top, all the way along the bottom. You've got more members that you've got support struts that come down from the seat back here in the front. This boat is unbelievable. It is just a really tough boat. I've used it for hundreds and hundreds of miles of floating the river. I've done some light whitewater with it, and it's held up very well. But as you can see, the boats are vastly different. Now I'm going to take the little one and slide it over here next to the big one so you can kind of get a little better idea of what those two look like side by side. These boats are tiny compared to the Steelheader. Steelheader is a big boat. The little Outcast boat, for most people, get the job done. But when you need something that's a little stronger, a little tougher, the pontoons on the Steelheader are 2,500 denier cloth on the top. Actually, I should say the sides. Then on the bottom, it's 5,000 denier, and right on the wear patch on the top, it's 5,000 denier cloth. And so, once again, they're designed to be used heavily. The Creek Company, it's more of a recreational type of a boat. I know all these are recreational, but I fish once a week. I really can't get by with this little boat. It's perfectly fine for me to take a person once in a while when somebody wants to go with me. It works out just fine for that. But for an everyday fishing trip, or once a week I should say, fishing trip, that one's a little out of its league. The Sportsman's Warehouse is a boat that you can use once a week. It is a boat that is strong, and it is capable of taking the punishment that it takes to get into some of the holes that I go into for sturgeon and catfish. The reason why I own this little boat right here instead of using the Steelheader for everything is the weight. This boat weighs about 80 pounds, maybe even a little bit less than that. And so it's a little easier for me to get on the back of the truck and get it in and out of the water. So as you can see, the next thing that I would like to point out is the foot pegs. The two smaller boats have foot pegs, but the bigger boat does not. And again, it was designed to set on the seat and row from in whitewater. Some guys drop an anchor and they fly fish off of them, but I like to put my feet in the water, so I don't have the foot pegs for mine. But that's okay. I get by with that just fine. It works perfect the way I do it. The Sportsman's Warehouse boat is just a really nice little boat. I enjoy that boat, and it is well designed, and it's tough. Skookum Steelheader, same thing, times 10. It's an awesome boat. But those are some of the reasons that why I choose boats over another, and I might even recommend certain boats over another, is because of maybe what a guy likes to fish for, what kind of water he's in. And for the most part, I'm going to stick with a boat that's got a little less rockers. I'm going to have a boat that has PVC covers, and I want a boat that is capable of taking the weight. And the Sportsman's Warehouse model can take the weight. It can take, I think it's 450 pounds. I think the Sport is somewhere around 200 or 250. And then, like I said before, the Steelheader is a boat that can take 1,000 pounds. So anyway, I am going to conclude this video. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Just down below, ask a few questions, and I'll try to I'll try to answer them the best of my ability. And I just want to say, until next time you see me on the water, I'm going to sign off, and I'll see if I can't get these things on the water maybe tomorrow and see if I can catch a sturgeon. So anyway, we'll see you later.